Regan Phipps to go through there. Yes, indeed, folks, the same Regan Phipps that's been riding the IMD 250 today, courtesy of Steve Bagshaw Racing and Biggles Racing. But here he is back on the 300 this time and showing us what the Tauranga man's capable of doing out there with the likes of Dennis Charlotte. Gav Veltmeyer had bad problems with his super light bike, but he's now coming back on the Coleman-supported KTM 390. And there as well with young Josh Goddard, Jacob Stroud, along with the Statesman and Andy McLaughlin in that lineup. Young Sam Goulter out of Ashburton with Hayden Lockhart in there, Tim Gray and James Barnum, to save just some of them. And in that stage, we haven't even had a chance to mention the likes of Grant Ramage, New Zealand's longest-serving supporter of New Zealand road racing, has been continuous every year for the last 40 years. How's that for a record, folks? Mr. Grant Ramage, and of course, former New Zealand 250 production champion as well, as he still loves the small bike capacity and enjoying the step up to the Yamaha R3. Great class, Phil, and this is one of those events where you say any of those top 5 riders can put their name on number 1.
Yeah, well, at the moment, there's quite a good four-way scrap going at the top of the field, and I think Dennis Charlotte was just looking like he was set to pounce, but as they went out of our sight and heads toward the Porsche Dipper, it is still Regan Phipps in the front.
Looking out for Regan, he's the man to try and do it. Of course, with this, you've got a little bit of a change in livery. We have a lot of the Hyacinths that look the same. Of course, the Gixxers don't just look the same, they're almost identical. So with all of these similar bikes, it's a matter of how the guys have prepared them and dressed them as looking to go through the bottom turn and make the charge to come up the hill this time. It's a spectacular part of the circuit as it makes the drive coming up to the top of the hill here as we look out with expectation who's going to make the charge. It's the bright colours to get through there. Don't know whether it's going to be the advantage all the way. We're looking to Regan, but no, in fact, Dennis Charlotte to get there. Dennis Charlotte, Gav Veltmeyer, Regan Phipps, Josh Goddard and Jacob Stroud. So they're the same top 5. They're the first 5 that were on the first row plus the next position, but slightly readjusted order. And Dennis Charlotte with the advantage. I tell you what, that's a commentator's dream to see that kind of colour. I didn't realise it was Dennis's paint job. He's taken over from Regan Phipps and being the high-vis rider out there.
The high-vis rider, yeah, absolutely right. And, well, he takes a bit of heading once he gets in the front, doesn't he? Dennis Charlotte, we mentioned before, the long list of titles he's won, the New Zealand titles he's won. But Gavin Veltmeyer, well, he's kind of my sentimental favourite because he's been there or thereabouts, and he's been second, he's been third, he's never quite won one yet. So let's hope he can do it this time round in the 300s and the 250 supporter combined race. But as you heard Neil say, will be scored separately. It is the national championship round after all.
So looking out for the battle going on, and what a battle it is with those front-running 5. Some real class there, and I'm so proud to be calling the name of Josh Goddard in amongst these best riders. What a fantastic year that man's had. And he just loved Hampton Downs for the Neaton visitor. It's like, wow, how would you do so well on a circuit you've done very little of your riding on? But he's certainly showing us that class as we look out for our field to come through. So there it is, looking at the update. Maybe a change of our lead as well. I think that's Charlotte back the second from Phipps. So I think you might find that's Gav Veltmeyer, is it, or Kendi Look. So I'm going to picture Gav Veltmeyer to come to the top of the hill to be leading for the group, unless Dennis Charlotte can get him back. They peel their way into that bottom Dale ITM Pirelli corner, and then do sweep round wide out of Motul, and then make the scorching run up the hill. Smaller bikes, but of course a little bit quicker than both the Hyacinths and the Gixxers that we've already had on our race program today. 300s, remembering the 250s have got their own race as well, so people like Nick Kane back in
Charlotte, but only just 4, is it? Veltmeyer down the inside, he'll have track position as they go down into 1, 3 abreast as they head down into 1, and I think right round the outside, that might have been Regan Phipps that went back into the lead then.
I think it looked to me, we'll take an idea looking at the laser pumping electrical lineup as they go underneath the overpass, which you can all take, of course, to be in a spectator position, and looking out for Regan. No, in fact, there's Regan. He's gobbled back. He's gone back through there into second or third place. Oh, maybe under a late bit of demon braking. Yes. Oh, close to go. The 3 of them are together. And looking at the next battle, and I think that might be, yes, it is, Jacob over Josh. They'd changed that way around last time, and I get the idea that they're going to have their own race for the fight for 4th place. But look out for these 3. They're so close they could almost touch. But it is Regan Phipps back from Dennis Charlotte again, back to our run in 3rd place there at the moment with Gav Veltmeyer.
So
wow.
He's shuffled himself back to 3rd place. You mentioned Jacob Stroud. He's just holding out Josh Goddard.
See the other factor, of course, to take note, and if you watch the colour scheme here for Dennis Charlotte as well, courtesy of Budget Motorcycle Spares out of Wellington, of course, my apologies, Christchurch, wash your mouth, Neil, will take as well the fact that the boys on their Triumphs coming up in the 600 race, they have the same colour scheme, but of course, with that race, there's 2 of them on the same team bike, so when you see them, you're not sure whether it's James or Jake, but we'll copy that story next, but there we go, with Regan Phipps, along with Dennis Charlotte, then to Gav Veltmeyer. When you see cut to the frame in the update on the Ctas live, you can't quite at times see Gav Veltmeyer. He's just that 2 or 3 bike lengths further back. If you could move up a couple and stay on the tail of Dennis, I'm sure he'd be more of a threat, because all of a sudden Dennis, instead of going for the pounce to try and get Regan, he's got to watch for the defence, because if he decides to say, I'm going to go on the inside here and has to brake too much, then there's Gav Veltmeyer to try and make the advantage. Back to that fight for 4th place, still the awesome flying Jacob Stroud over Josh Goddard.
Charlotte back in the front from Phipps, and Veltmeyer got out in the front of Stroud. Great stuff. And it's McLaughlin by the look of it, the next one through. Sam Golter in there as well. I was just watching the lines there of Regan Phipps, and he seems to run a wider line and just holds the speed. And that's, I think, while he was doing that well, he was staying in front of Dennis Charlotte. But I think Charlotte watched it for a couple of corners, and he was awake up to it in the sweeper. And that's where he got a little bit better drive. And that means they were side by side going across the stripe. And of course, Dennis had track position down the inside, so he takes the lead.
3x2, we're talking about the 3 riders up front now with Dennis Charlotte, Regan Phipps and Gav Veltmeyer. Then we're talking about the 2, and it's changed, hasn't it? First lap we had Josh over Jacob, then it was Jacob over Josh. Now it's back with Josh Goddard ahead of Jacob Stroud. A fantastic battle going on in that fight now for the special 4th place, but these 3 out in front, it's all on at the moment. Remembering, I don't know whether Gav Veltmeyer's had his opportunity to put his wheel in front, but super close to it. He's now getting right there with him, Phil.
Out of the double B they come, heading down towards the high pull hairpin, and you mentioned it, Neil. It is all on at the front of the field. Charlotte in the front, Phibbs in second. Then we go back to Veltmeyer. Jacob Stroud looks up the inside of the Yamaha of Goddard. Can't make the pass stick, though, as they head down into the dipper now. And once again, down on the inside, taking the tight line is Dennis Charlotte, and sweeping out wide again, and maybe just getting a bit of advantage as they get back up to full speed as they head down into the sweeper is Regan Phipps. So it might be just a little bit closer this time around. They head up into that big sweeper at the bottom end of the circuit. Remember, we're using the international circuit, so the 4-kilometre distance, and they've just put a little bit of daylight between themselves and Gavin Veltmeyer. Once again, you see Phibbs really holds the speed as he comes up over the top of the hill. Now, is he going to be enough to challenge Dennis Charlotte? It will be all on at the front of this one. Will it be Charlotte? Will it be Phibbs? It's still Charlotte. Phibbs is right there, looking tucked up in the slipstream. Gavin Veltmeyer just breaks the draft a little bit more. Goddard once again in front of Jacob Stroud. Stroud goes around the outside of him through turn and takes the spot back again.
Wow, toing and froing like you've not seen before, and great to see those 2 races within the races as we look for the excitement to build in this one at the moment. Of course, we've got Josh Goddard out there at the moment, courtesy of the Otago Motorcycle Club, Trevor Pierce, Yamaha Race Supplies, along with tyrewarmers.co.nz, Motor Extreme Dyno Works, and a rest of a few quality sponsors. Of course, Gav Veltmeyer with Coleman Suzuki, HJC, DID, JT Motor Lubricants, and Pirelli Tyres. So some of our main corporate sponsors here today getting behind these guns as well. So special to see. And of course, in the big charge that goes on as well, an opportunity to see the others like Regan Phipps on that Red Baron Auckland supported Yamaha R3. So you've of course got the R3 Yamaha in there as well, and then you look to the Ninja Kawasaki of Dennis Charlotte, and then you go to the KTM. So the 3 recognised main bikes that contest this class, there is one of each in that top trio, and when you look at it, there's not too much against them. You take a close look at the performance on the dipper, and you watch the likes of a Jacob Stroud through there. Definitely the punch out of the corner. That a 390 KTM has got it, but the twin of the Yamaha is just going to extend it along that straight.
For some reason here, I'm doing the best I can to resurrect it, but not having a whole lot of success at the moment.
Well, there we go.
But you'll see it for yourselves as they come over the top. It should be Regan Phipps in the front this time.
And a white flag as well.
White flag, so 1 to go. And this isn't him.
So it'll be is it going to be a checkered flag waiting then if that rider's got the white? So yes, it will be.
Might be right.
I think we're going to get a checkered for the others. So Charlotte's going to pick his pocket. How was that?
Dennis Charlotte got it by about a half a front wheel length, I reckon.
And that's the slipstream.
And Goddard gets it over Jacob.
Yeah. Oh.
And what about the celebration? Bouncing up and down on the seat. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff.
Oh, well, when when you do get it there, Phil, I think we're going to see something absolutely amazing. So we've got all of the headers are all there. It's not as if the screen's gone away. And keen just to have a look there at what we've got. So I just want to maybe take another double click. Oh, no, you can't. So, okay, there we go. So our apologies. We've not got the accurate update. But we'll get one all the same for you. But there you go. So Dennis Charlotte takes a win ahead of Regan Phipps. And there we have the Goddard Stroud. So, in actual fact, I think the key missing one was we've actually lost Gav Veltmite. So that's the other factor as well. So, oh yeah. So, well, there we go. 2 races in a row that he has not finished.